Hello everyone, Luke Smith here. Now I know I said I wasn't going to do any more Sab videos, but this one is about Chris Packham, so yeah, this is going to be the last one, by the way, of this series. I am going to put it in the playlist. So, the quick lowdown: Chris Packham is a wildlife presenter for the BBC, even though he's more like he goes rogue and does things himself. At the minute, he's trying to hunt down a criminal gang of bird snatchers or whatever the fuck he's doing. So this, I'm gonna read this. This was uploaded on February 4th, updated on the 14th of February of this year. Who's who in Packham's criminal crew? That rhymes. Back in December, BBC Spring Watch presenter Chris Packham joined the infamous North Hunt Sabs to disrupt a meeting of the Cottlesmere Hunt in Lancashire. Oh no, that's Leicester. As Behind the Mask reported at the time, Packham and his stepdaughter Megan Cubbin spent the day live streaming their outings alongside convicted bomb maker and notorious North Hunt Sab leader Mel Bellington. During the live stream, Packham repeated the tired old claim that trail hunting is a smokescreen for the illegal killing of foxes. However, the numbers don't lie. Since 2005, just 23 convictions over 228,000 hunting days show that 99.99% of hunts follow the law. So much for BBC impartiality. When the hell has the BBC been impartial? They're the most biased TV lot in the world. Despite being a freelancer, Packham is still bound by BBC rules on neutrality and not bringing the corporation into a dispute. Judging by his day out with the Sab gang, the broadcaster doesn't seem too worried about protecting the organisation's reputation. The Rogues Gallery. Packham, bottom row yellow puffer, and Cubbin, bottom row right, had no worries about posing with some of the Sab scene's most disreputable faces: Mel Barrington, Luke Tucker, Bernadette Green, Karen Delton, and some foreigner. Can't pronounce the name. So this is going to go down the list of the actual names. So Mel Barrington is a convicted bomb maker and animal rights activist who has been a mainstay of the Sab scene for years. From 2010, Barrington has spent a decade behind bars for conspiracy to commit arson after planting firebombs under buildings at Oxford's Templeton College and the Queen's College Cricket Pavilion, racking up £14,000 in damages. But he never learnt his lesson. In November 2022, Barrington found himself back in prison, this time on what he called trumped-up charges linked to the Beagles campaign, the MBR Beagles campaign. This campaign, launched in 2020, targeted a Cambridgeshire company involved in animal research. With over 40 years in the Sab game, Barrington is one of the movement's oldest school extremists, extremists, and despite his criminal record, he still manages to pull in high-profile allies, including BBC's Chris Packham. Because how deep is Packham willing to wade into Barrington's world? I bet you that Mel's going to teach Chris how to make bombs, 100%. Lisa Gaffaray. Gaffaray is thought to be Mel Barrington's partner in crime. Literally, in November 2022, she was arrested alongside Barrington and another unnamed Sab and remanded in custody at Thorpe Road police station in Peterborough. According to a Facebook post by Sab supporters in June 2024, Gaffrey was handed a 18-month custodial sentence, suspended for 2 years, by Cambridge's Crown Court. The charges are thought to be related to her and Barrington's long-standing campaign against the use of beagles in medical testing. In March 2024, Barrington once again found himself in the dock for raging psychological warfare against Russell Morgan, whose company Impex transported the animals from acres to the LabCorp testing facility. Barrington is alleged to have called Morgan a puppy killer in front of his wife and 8-year-old son. Luke Tucker is another leader of the North Hants Sabs with a criminal past. In December 2024, Tucker received a £1,000 fine from Northampton Magistrates Court for aggravated trespass while disrupting a Finchley hunt. The worst part is that Tucker seems to know what he was doing was wrong. Back in March 2023, huntsman Gary Thorpe caught Tucker on film admitting his group was disrupting a legal trail hunt, stating, "I personally thought it was a trail back there." Similarly, during Packham's December live stream, Tucker admitted that Cottlesmere had a very slim chance of actually finding a fox on such a foggy day, belaying the fact that the group was again practicing legal trail hunting. Nevertheless, Tucker admitted that it was his true aim to really shut this hunt down, even though it's a trail hunt. Bernadette Green is a regular fixture with the North Hants Hunt Sabs, who thrives on disrupting legal activities under the banner of animal rights activism. Green was one of the activists behind the chaos of the 223 Grand National. On the 10th of July 2024, Merseyside police charged Green with intentionally/recklessly causing a public nuisance after she and her fellow troublemakers stormed the track and glued themselves to an obstacle at Aintree, delaying the race by 15 minutes. The stunts saw over 100 arrests, with 20 activists, including Green, now facing charges. Green's ties to the convicted arsonist Barrington go well beyond this outing. When Barrington returned to the Sab scene after his prison stint, Green set up a GoFundMe to bankroll him after he was injured while sabbing in 2020. In her plea for donations, she described him as an honest and kind and committed friend. Strange words for a man who was jailed in 2010 for conspiracy to commit arson and trying to bomb something. Karen Denton. In introducing Karen Denton, a long-time partner of the infamous Luke Tucker, now firmly stepping into the spotlight. Denton has managed to keep a low profile until now. This revealing photo suggests that she is now in step with her life partner in crime, raising questions about how deeply she's embedded in the Sab scene. According to reports, Tucker and Denton lived together in Birmingham and welcomed a child in 2024. I really hope that children is taken away from her. Now the foreign name girl is a notorious animal rights extremist with a history of violent and aggressive behaviour. In November 2019, she was accused of hurling abuse, intimidating and even spitting in the face of a farmer and hunt steward, Jesus Christ, this is in Welsh a bit, Owen, while trespassing on private land. As a result, she was cautioned by police and ordered to pay a fine and banned from sabbing in Leicester and Lincolnshire for 12 weeks. She lives in North London, describes herself as a creative designer. However, her sparsely populated online comments platform suggests that she is spending far more time sabbing than earning an honest crust. Live with the dogs catch fleas. Having freely and openly associated with such a dubious characters, questions are now being asked about Chris Packham's judgment and whenever the broadcaster turned campaigner has a future at the BBC. Packham, however, is no stranger to controversy, regularly upsetting licence fee payers with his highly political stunts. In 2019, the BBC faced calls to sack Packham after his campaign group, Wild Justice, convinced Natural England to ban farmers from shooting pest birds on their own land. Nevermore, in 2017, he was forced to issue an apology after suggesting without evidence that game shooting was responsible for a downturn in the population of lapwing. Most recently, in October 2024, Packham was forced to pay almost £200,000 in damages to the 70-year-old proofreader Paul Reed after part of his libel case against the magazine County Squire was thrown out by the High Court. Behind the mask welcomes any information about other hunt sabs photographed with Chris Packham. You can get in touch with that email address right there. So, yeah, that was Chris Packham's criminal crew. Right there. So I am pretty sure people has been calling in, complaining about Packham and his illegal criminals. So I'm not going to bother contacting Ofcom again. I already contacted them once. It didn't go anywhere for obvious reasons. I'm pretty sure they like Chris Packham because he earns them money. So unfortunately there isn't probably nothing we can do about this, but we can keep trying at least. Like, the more people complaining about Packham means the more pressure on the BBC and Ofcom to get rid of him, to sack him completely and get him investigated by police. So that'll be it for this little video. I hope you've enjoyed it, found it informative. I'll put a link to this article in the description, below. Tomorrow I'll have a to be fair, it's either going to be a lollicale video or something else. Hasn't been any important lollicale news really. I'll find something. I am going to be making a TikTok tonight though, so hopefully you've enjoyed this and I'll see you guys next time.